Hello, hi, my name is Raja Aiman and my matrix number is 180878. Alright, for biochemistry and Lex Incorporated here, we were given this case study which states what will happen if a horse which weighs 400 kilograms ate bananas which are more than 200 kilograms. So over here, I'll be discussing much on the earlier stage of digestion and just a very superficial effect of what happens if the horse ate more than 20 kg of banana. So what happens first is we need to know what the banana contains. So it is stated that it contains 48% of glucose, 40% of fructose, 2% of sucrose, and then less than 1% of maltose. And it also contains 5% of starch and very little percent of fatty acid, which is just 1%, and 10% of fiber. So what happens here is the bananas will enter the mouth, and what happens? Mastication takes place for the food to be ground for, and by the cross section of the jaw to moisten the food. And then saliva, which contains the enzyme salivary amylase, is present here to break down the starch into maltose, which will be further absorbed in the small intestine, or more specific, the jejunum part. So in the saliva, it contains bicarbonate, which acts as a buffer, or it would raise the pH of the stomach, since the stomach is very acidic, which contains the hydrochloric acid, and would provide protection from the ulcer formation. And then from there, it enters the esophagus, which is about 4 to 5 feet in length, to convey the food from the mouth to the stomach. And then the stomach of an equine is a very small muscle organ, which is just used as a holding vat actually. And then the capacity of the stomach depends on the size of the horses as well. If it's an Arabic horse, it's relatively small. If it's a bigger horses like Thoroughbred, it'll be much bigger. And then in average, it holds about 11 liters of feed and water content only. And then in the stomach, they have hydrochloric acid and pepsin, which are secreted by the stomach for the digestion of protein, as the pepsin requires an acidic environment and such. So here, the digestion of the banana does not take place, as there's no protein present in the banana. So that is when it travels into the duodenum. And I will not discuss on that, but I'll be discussing on the effect of the horse, which is 400 kilogram, eats more than 20 kilograms of bananas. So it is stated here that it may cause colic and can also cause gut ulcer because of the very low pH. It is stated that bananas contains high carbohydrate, and this would release the volatile fatty acids and other acids as well, such as lactic acid, which would cause ulcer in the gut. So that is all from my part here. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sim Iling and my metric number is 180893. Today I will discuss on what will happen if an adult horse has what will happen if an adult horse have eaten more than 20 kg of banana. Okay. After searching through the internet, I find that more than 20 kg banana is excessive to what a horse can take a day. More than the amount of banana that a horse can take a day. Okay, so that is why there will be some problems happening to that horse. The most significant organ that is affected is cecum. This is because the cecum has an odd shape where its entrance and exit are on the top of the organ. So if there's a rapid change in diet of the horse, this will cause problem. This kind of cecum design will cause problem to that horse, which is there will be a compaction at the lower end of the colic. Sorry, there will be a compaction and the lower end of the cecum, which causes pain, or in another word, colic in horses, in that horse, because this happened because of the microbial population is not adapted to the new diet and therefore cannot function normally. And not only colic will happen, actually gastric ulceration also will happen. This is because the horse have overeaten banana. That's all from me. Thank you.
My name is Shirley Qinsili. My matrix number is 180864. Today I'm going to talk about what will happen if a horse ate more than 20 kg of banana. In this experiment, our objective is to understand the metabolism of carbohydrate in pseudo-ruminants, which is horse. First, I would like to talk about the chemical composition of banana. Banana contains 48% of glucose, 40% of fructose, 2% of sucrose, and less than 1% of maltose and 5% of starch. It also consists 1% of fatty acid and 10% of fiber. As the banana enters the horse's mouth, it is ground by cross-action of the jaw to moisten food with the aid of saliva. Amylase, which is present in the saliva, break down into maltose, which will then absorb into the small intestine. It also contains bicarbonate, which buffer or rises the pH of the stomach contains, providing protection from the ulcer formation. The esophagus is a simple muscular tube between 4 and 5 feet long in the mature horse. Its function is to convey food from the mouth to the stomach. The equine stomach is the weakly muscle organ, which average it holds 11 liters of feed and water contains only. Hydrochloric acid and pepsins are secreted into the stomach for the digestion of protein only. The digester is then passed from the stomach to the small intestine. The small intestine is a major site of digestion in the modern performance horse. It consists of 3 sections, which is duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. The pancreas will secrete amylase to break down the starch into simple sugars and protease to break down the proteins into amino acids. Lipids and bile from the liver is added to emulsify fats and to suspend the fats in water. After the feeds have been breakdown is then absorbed through the wall of small intestine to carry off by the bloodstream to the cells that are needed. The end product, glucose, will then undergo glycolysis in the cytosol. In general, through the process of glycolysis, one glucose molecule will produce 2 molecules of pyruvate and 2 molecules of ADP, and 2 molecules of the inorganic phosphate will then produce another 2 molecules of ATP. The end product of glycolysis is pyruvate. Pyruvate will then enter Krebs cycle to generate more ATP, which is energy. In this experiment, there are some new words that I've learned, which is inoculation. Inoculation is the act of introducing microorganism or suspension of microorganism into a culture medium. Chronic, which is mean abdominal pain, and there are those 2 words that I've learned in this experiment. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Elingsen. My metric number is 175282. Okay, for the case study number 3, I will talk about my part, which is the TCA cycle, stands for tricarboxylic acid cycle. Okay, the end product of glycolysis is pyruvate, but the pyruvate form must be converted to acetyl-CoA to be used in this energy releasing pathway, which is my part, TCA cycle, for more ATP to be generated. The pyruvate conversion will be catalyzed by pyruvate dehydrogenase complex. There are 8 reactions in this cycle which occur in mitochondria, and also various enzymes are involved, such as formation of citrate by citrate synthase, isocitrate by aconitase, alpha-ketoglutarate by isosaccharic dehydrogenase, succinate CoA by alpha-ketoglutarate dehydrogenase, succinate by succinate CoA, synthetase fumarate by succinate dehydrogenase, L-malate by fumarase, and oxaloacetate by L-malate dehydrogenase. The oxaloacetate form will be used to initiate the cycle again. By the end of this reaction, there will be 6 NADH and 2 FADH2, 2 molecules of ATP, and also 4 molecules of carbon dioxide will be formed. By proceeding to the oxidative phosphorylation, there will be more energy will generated. Okay, for this case study, if the horse consume about more than 20 kg of bananas, it will actually suffer from gastric rupture and colic if it consumes it in a short period of time. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Siti Jasmina, metric number 180880. So we were given a case study. A horse consumed bananas. So basically, bananas are composed of potassium and other substances, but I'm gonna focus on potassium. So basically, equine kidneys, they are very efficient at removing excess potassium in the blood. When there's a case of excessive amounts of potassium in the blood, it is called hyperkalemia. And basically what happens, the equine kidneys, as I've said earlier, they're very efficient in removing excess potassium by a lot of urinary excretion. It will just increase, followed by fecal excretion. Horses, if they do have hyperkalemia, they will refuse to eat. They will stop eating. This is because they have a mechanism in them which maintains toxicity levels so that it doesn't exceed too much to the point of dangerous levels. However, there's a condition called hyperkalemic. It's referred to as HYPP. It's hyperkalemic periodic paralysis. It's basically an inherited disease in equine of the muscle, and it's a genetic defect. Basically, the symptoms are sporadic attacks of muscle tremors. The attacks are usually accompanied by loud breathing noises resulting from paralysis of the muscles of the upper airway. Horses that are usually HYPP positive should have a proper diet, and they cannot handle sudden diet changes. So owners who have horses that are HYPP positive should avoid high potassium feeds. Thank you.